Hi, my friends. Today, I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. The rain had started without warning, hammering my windshield like bullets as I navigated Mulholland Drive. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. Visibility was poor, and my phone buzzed somewhere in my bag, but I didn't dare take my eyes off the road. Not that night. Not with that voicemail still echoing in my mind. Chelsea, my mother had said coldly, don't expect us to drop everything just because you're upset. You've always been too sensitive. The words stung more than I'd admit. I was still hearing them when the headlights appeared, blinding, fast, and on the wrong side of the road. The impact was a scream of twisting metal, shattered glass, and blackness. I woke up to silence and a smell I couldn't name. Then pain, raw and everywhere. Machines beeped. Tubes snaked from my arms. The ceiling above me blurred, pen sharpened. Don't move, a soft voice said. You're at Street Francis Memorial. You've been in a coma for 12 days. 12 days. Wes, my family. My throat was fire. The nurse, Emily, her badge red, hesitated. They were contacted. They chose not to stay. That sentence clenched through me like an iron bell. 2 days later, my best friend Jensen arrived with red eyes and fury clenched in his jaw. They refused the surgery, he snapped, gripping the bed rail. The doctors needed consent for the procedure that saved your life. Your parents said, and I quote, "She's not really our daughter." I stared at him, the words washing over me like acid. No, they wouldn't. They did. He handed me a phone. A shaky voice recording played. My father, calm as stone, we were told she was adopted. That doesn't make her our legal responsibility. Emily later told me she recorded the moment to protect the hospital and me. I turned my face toward the window, the sky gray with storm light. Something inside me, something naive, shattered. They had abandoned me. Not emotionally, not metaphorically, literally. I'm going to help you, Jensen said quietly. Legally, financially, whatever it takes. They don't get to walk away from this. I didn't cry because grief had no place in a heart suddenly fueled by fire. The girl they left to die. She wasn't gone. She was waking up, and she was remembering everything. 3 weeks after the accident, I was out of the ICU and halfway into learning how to walk again. My body healed faster than my heart, but it was a manila envelope that tore me open the deepest. It arrived with no ceremony, just quietly slid onto my tray during lunch. My attorney's name was printed on the corner. I ripped it open with trembling fingers. Inside, a letter in grandfather Nest's handwriting and a stack of legal documents. The letter began simply, "My dearest Chelsea, if you're reading this, then something has gone wrong. I had hoped to tell you everything face to face, but life is rarely so kind." I read it once, then again. The words blurred as the truth soaked in. My biological mother was Summer, I whispered. Emily, seated beside my bed, looked up from her chart. Who's Summer? My grandfather's niece, I murmured. He said she was just 18, pregnant, scared, and he arranged my adoption. Said he wanted to keep me close in the family. Chelsea, Emily said gently, are you okay? No, I admitted, but I'm clear. The documents confirmed it all, my birth certificate, the legal adoption filings, the sealed court approval. My adoptive parents had lied to everyone, maybe even themselves, about what I was to them. The next day, Jensen stormed into my hospital room. They're contesting the will, he snapped, slapping down a folder. Your parents claimed grandfather Ernest was mentally incompetent when he named you sole heir. They filed it last night. I blinked, stunned. He wasn't. He was sharper than ever when we had lunch a week before he died. They're lying, Chelsea, again. And they're not just going for the house. They're going for everything. The fire in my chest reignited. Then let's give them the truth. We started gathering evidence, Ernest's medical records, old voicemails, even video clips of him discussing his estate plans. I contacted James, his longtime attorney, who confirmed everything. They're wasting the court's time, he said grimly. But they're hoping to tarnish your image. They'll use your accident, your injuries. They'll say you're unstable. I laughed bitterly. They're right. I am unstable. Then my smile hardened. But that only makes me dangerous. The mahogany table and Grandfather Ernest's dining room hadn't seen dust since the day he died. It was polished, gleaming, waiting, just like I was. The letter lay in the center, cream-colored envelope heavy with truth. My name written in my own handwriting stared back at me. Inside was the storm. The security cameras were already installed. Every corner of the house monitored. James, my attorney, had ensured the footage would stream to my phone in real time. "They'll be here at noon," he said as he placed the key in my palm. "And the locks are changed. Only you and I can enter." "Thank you," I whispered. Jensen helped me back to my temporary apartment. I was still walking with a cane, scars webbing my cheekbone like lightning, but I felt strong, ready. At exactly 12:06, the front gate buzzed. My parents' black Mercedes pulled into the driveway. Behind them, their biological daughter Helena's silver SUV. "Here we go," I murmured, unlocking the feed. They moved through the foyer, unaware of the quiet eyes watching them. My father barked something about getting this over with. My mother's heels clicked like accusations on the hardwood. They entered the dining room. "What's this?" my mother asked, plucking up the envelope. She didn't hesitate, just tore it open. As she read, her face paled. My father leaned over her shoulder, his brow furrowed, then tightened into rage. "This is slander," he snapped. "It's evidence." Helena's voice cut in sharply. "There's a QR here." She scanned the code with her phone. The hospital footage began to play, my parents' voices clearly stating I wasn't really their daughter, that they wouldn't authorize surgery, that I didn't matter. Silence fell like thunder. "You left her to die," Helena whispered. My mother's voice wavered. "It wasn't like that. We were in shock. You told the doctor she wasn't your real daughter." I watched as Helena's expression crumbled. She clutched the adoption papers from the envelope. "She was your daughter for 29 years, and you abandoned her." My father's response was cold. "She was never ours." Helena turned away, visibly shaking. "Then I don't want to be yours either." She pulled out her phone and sent me a message. "We need to talk." The cafe on West Melrose hadn't changed. Same chipped mugs, same dusty display case with lemon scones no one ever ordered. But today, it felt like the stage of something irreversible. Helena was already seated when I arrived, nervously stirring cream into a coffee that had long gone cold. Her eyes met mine, and for a second, I saw the little sister I used to braid hair for and defend at recess. But time had warped us, bent our bond into something unfamiliar. "I didn't know," she began as I lowered myself into the seat beside her. "About the hospital, about the will, any of it." "You knew something," I replied softly. "Even back then," she flinched. "I thought they were just strict with you because you were so capable." I didn't understand it was punishment. I pulled out my phone and opened the document. "I want you to hear why I wrote them." She nodded. I read aloud every word from my letter, the hospital footage, the legal proof of my adoption, their abandonment, the forgiveness I extended not for their sake, but mine. When I finished, her eyes brimmed with tears. "I always envied you," she whispered, "your strength, your grades, how Grandpa loved you most, but I see now I had what you didn't, unquestioned love from my parents." "Love isn't love if it's a weapon," I said. Silence settled like snowfall. Uncomfortable, honest. "I want to be your sister again," Helena said, voice trembling. "I know I don't deserve it, but maybe we could start over." I studied her. She'd walked away from them. She'd chosen truth over comfort. "Small steps," I said at last, "no promises." She smiled, fragile, hopeful. "Small steps, I can do that." And just like that, we took one. 7 months later, sunlight streamed through the stained glass of Grandpa Ernest's old Victorian, my home now. The walls no longer echoed with ghosts, but hummed with life. Helena set a casserole on the dining table while Emily, my former nurse and now friend, poured wine. Jensen laughed in the kitchen, teasing Samantha about her hopeless cooking skills. "You built something beautiful here," Helena said quietly, sitting beside me. "I didn't build it alone," I replied, watching the people who stayed when it mattered most. The final lawsuit my parents filed, emotional distress, was tossed out. Their reputation shattered. They fled California, not even bothering to send a goodbye. And for once, I didn't ache for it. That evening, I posted a photo of us around the dinner table, smiling. The caption read, "Family isn't blood, it's love, truth, and who shows up when everything falls apart." Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.